The school's bad boy turned out to be the same childish brat I used to bully when we were little. On my very first day at the new school, I, a supposedly weak and quiet girl, was assigned to sit next to the infamous school delinquent. Wait a second, that face. Why did it look so familiar? Wasn't this the same blockhead I used to boss around years ago? I stepped through the school gate. The yard was completely empty, only the faint sound of someone reading somewhere in the distance. Great. I'd managed to get lost on the first day. Classic goldfish memory. And of course, there was no one to ask for directions. Just then, a balding teacher with a beer belly and a mountain of papers under his arm pointed straight at me and shouted, "Hey, student, why are you wandering around the yard at this hour?" My heart almost jumped out of my chest. I spun around and tried my best to look innocent. "Teacher, I'm new here. I got lost." He cut me off before I could even finish. His tone was dripping with suspicion. "Which class?" "Class 1226, sir." "You're already in 12th grade and you still can't find your classroom?" His eyes scanned me from head to toe, as if silently saying, "Yeah, right. Just admit you're late. No need to make up stories." I clenched my fists and swallowed my annoyance. "I really am a transfer student, sir." "Class 1226. The teacher scratched his half-bald head and frowned. Such a good-looking, polite girl. "How did you end up in that class?" "So he was the homeroom teacher of 1226. "Great. Follow me," he sighed. "I'm Mr. Wu. I'll take you there." "Thank you, Mr. Wu." I almost teared up with relief. Finally, my savior. I tightened my grip on my bag and followed him down the corridor. Judging from his tone, 1226 didn't sound like a very peaceful place. This school divided classes by test scores, 40 classes in total, so 26th should be somewhere in the middle, right? Not too bad, I thought. I was so wrong. Even from the hallway, I could already hear chaos. Some students were reading aloud, others laughing and shouting like it was recess. The door opened and a paper ball flew straight toward my face. Thankfully, Mr. Wu reacted quickly and pulled me back just in time. "Late again?" A lazy voice drawled from the back, full of mockery. "Shut it," Mr. Wu snapped, smoothing the wrinkles on his shirt. His face turned pale with fury, but he only glared at the boy before turning to me. "Go on, come in." I stepped inside. The room looked like a battlefield. Desks crooked, paper scraps everywhere. A few girls at the back were openly painting their nails like the teacher didn't exist. Mr. Wu sighed. "Introduce yourself. You're part of this class now." I took a deep breath, forced a polite smile. "Hello, everyone. My name's Manitou. Nice to meet you all. I hope we can get along." Meanwhile, inside my head, I was screaming, "Is it too late to run?" I'd skipped an entire grade straight to senior year. No entrance exam, no report card, just my father pulling strings and donating an entire building to smooth things out. And look where that got me, thrown straight into this zoo. The infamous 1226, a gathering of spoiled rich kids with too much money and too little discipline. From the corner of my eye, a few guys whistled and snickered. I rolled my eyes and ignored them. Mr. Wu scanned the room and finally pointed toward the third row by the window. "That's the only empty seat left, Mana. Sit there for now." I nodded and walked over, pretending not to care. The desk by the aisle was a total disaster, stuffed with trash and snacks. But the one by the window was spotless, only a single pen lying neatly on top. Without hesitation, I moved the pen aside, slid my bag into the desk, and sat down like I owned the place. Mr. Wu said nothing. He just cleared his throat and started another lecture that no one was listening to. The owner of my seat, apparently, hadn't shown up all morning. When the bell finally rang, Mr. Wu called, "Class rep, take the new student to the office to collect her textbooks and see if we can get another desk for your row." A tall boy in glasses stood up from the front row. He adjusted his frame slightly, his expression calm. "Yes, sir." We walked out together. "I'm Lucas Fong, class rep," he said softly. "If you need help, just ask." "Thanks," I replied automatically, adding a polite "ye" at the end out of habit. Even I cringed at how timid I sounded. Lucas pushed up his glasses again, awkwardly unsure where to put his hands. We carried the heavy stacks of books back in silence, but as we reached the classroom door, he suddenly stopped. There was pity in his eyes. "What's wrong?" I asked. He hesitated, then said nothing, only handed me the books. The classroom was unnervingly quiet when I stepped in. Holding the pile so high it nearly covered my face, being barely 1.6 meters tall didn't help. I shuffled to my seat and froze. Someone was sitting there, a boy, head down, fast asleep, one arm dangling off the desk. Before I could say anything, the girl in front of me turned slightly, put a finger to her lips, and whispered, "Shh, don't wake him up. Just put your books down and wait." I nodded, grateful. But even if I didn't wake him, how was I supposed to sit? The two boys behind us watched eagerly, eyes full of amusement. Yeah, no help from them. They were clearly waiting for me to embarrass myself. Left with no choice, I tapped gently on the desk. Excuse me? Could you move a little?" The boy frowned, slowly lifted his head. The last person who dared wake Adrian Shen up probably existed only back in kindergarten. His eyes met mine, soft, polite, a little nervous, and his irritation faltered for a second. He brushed his messy hair back, sharp gaze, cutting like a knife. I shrank my neck. This guy is dangerous, I thought. Better not mess with him if I want to survive this semester. School life, as it turns out, wasn't all sunshine and cherry blossoms. After that, my desk mate slept through the entire period and vanished before the next class even started. When school ended, I wandered toward the gate, fiddling with the pendant around my neck. "Hey there, freshman!" A few boys with bleached hair blocked my way, smirking. "Cute, huh? How about giving me your number, sweetheart?" I ignored them completely, kept walking. Unfortunately, that only made them follow closer. One stepped in front of me, grinning. "Come on, don't be shy." I took 2 steps back, but they surrounded me. Just across the wall, Adrian Shen had been lounging under a tree, watching everything unfold. He recognized me instantly, the new girl who sat next to him. With a lazy smirk, he leaned against the tree, clearly amused. At this school, seeing guys from the neighboring trade school harass girls was nothing new, and Adrian wasn't exactly the heroic type. I clenched my fists. "Back off, or I won't be polite." My voice trembled, soft as cotton candy. Adrian snorted quietly. With that tone, "You'll scare a fly, maybe." Sure enough, the boys burst out laughing, holding their stomachs. I sighed. "You guys really don't value peace, huh?" They closed in. My back hit a tree trunk. No escape. All right then, time to handle this myself. I loosened my jacket sleeves, tied them around my waist, and whispered a small prayer. "Dear Buddha, forgive me for what I'm about to do." The blonde one grinned wider, mistaking my move for surrender. He reached out, crack. I grabbed his wrist, twisted it down hard. He screamed. Without letting go, I spun his arm, kicked his shoulder, and threw him straight to the ground. 3 others lunged toward me. I ducked, dodged, punched. Within seconds, 4 boys were rolling on the dirt, groaning in pain. The blonde staggered back up, charging at me like a rabid dog. I sidestepped, but my necklace flew off. He missed me and fell face first into the mud. I gave him a light kick for good measure. When it was over, I crouched, frantically searching the ground. That necklace was a gift, something precious from long ago. From afar, Adrian watched, eyes glinting with surprise. He'd never imagined the gentle-looking girl next to him could fight like that. Even he had to admit, her moves were impressive. Something small fell near his feet. He bent down and picked it up, a silver ring threaded on a chain. At that moment, I ran up, breathless. "Please, that's mine." Adrian looked at me, then at the necklace in his hand. "Yours?" he asked, voice low but teasing. My heart skipped. Great. Day 1, and my desk mate just caught me brawling after class. He smiled faintly. "Didn't expect it to be you." It took me a second to realize. He remembered me. I was 2 years younger than him. We'd known each other as kids before my family moved to the capital. We'd lost touch for years, and now, somehow, we were sitting next to each other again. I met his eyes. "Please," I said softly. "That necklace. It's really important to me." Adrian stayed silent for a moment, then handed it back. "This is the same one I gave you, isn't it?" I blinked. He remembered. "Yeah," I whispered. "Thank you." I turned to leave, but paused after 2 steps. Which way's the school gate?" Adrian couldn't help it. He laughed out loud. "Some things never change." "Come on," he said, tossing his jacket over his shoulder. "I'll show you." He walked ahead, one hand in his pocket. I followed quietly, clutching my bag, watching his back from a few steps behind. He didn't seem as cold as everyone said. As I touched the necklace again, an old warmth bloomed in my chest, a feeling both strange and familiar. Honestly, I never once thought Adrian Shen could really be him. Because if it truly was, then even after all these years apart, one glance at this ring, he would have recognized me immediately. And he did. He just didn't say anything. We'd both changed too much. It wasn't strange that I didn't recognize him. The real surprise was that he didn't call me out. But knowing the way he is now, even if he did remember me, he'd rather stay silent than risk being despised. I used to be his first friend, and maybe the one person he feared most to lose. "Hey, classmate, what's your name?" I jogged up beside him, looked up, and smiled. Adrian's eyes flickered down at me, a short girl barely reaching his chest. His face was cold, his lips barely moved. "Short," he said flatly. I froze. "Seriously? That's your answer?" I puffed my cheeks, muttering under my breath. "So rude." Then I added a bit louder. "Well, I'm Manitou." The corner of Adrian's lips curved slightly, a small, dangerous smile. A thought crossed his mind. If she knew who I really was, what would she do? Would she hate me? That hint of fear twisted inside him again. "Adrian Shen," he said at last. I blinked. "Wait. What?" My eyes widened. He was really Adrian Shen, the same boy from my childhood. But his face gave away nothing. No warmth, no recognition, just a quiet distance that made my chest tighten. "All right, we're here," he said simply, turning away before I could say another word. I stood there at the school gate, staring blankly after him. "Mana!" Mom's voice pulled me back. I turned and saw her waving. Without thinking, I ran straight into her arms. "Come on," she smiled. "Let's go get dinner." She took my bag, gently patting my head as we walked to the car. "Why are you here, Mom? Don't you usually work late?" "I had to stop by on my way home from the office," she said. "God, lucky I caught you." "Oh," I nodded. She smiled. "What do you want for dinner?" I tilted my head in thought, though deep down, I already knew my answer wouldn't matter. Mom always decided. "When are Dad and my brother coming back?" "Your brother next week, your father in 2 days." "Got it." I looked out the car window, so I'd have to wait another week before my brother could pick me up after school again. No bubble tea, no street snacks, no fun. I sighed softly. "Mom," I said after a pause, "I ran into Adrian Shen today. He's in my class." Her hands on the steering wheel froze for a moment. In her memory, Adrian was still that polite, well-mannered boy from years ago, not the rebellious image his name carried now. I didn't say more, because I knew. Adrian wasn't truly a troublemaker. That wild, defiant look, it was just armor, a disguise, a way to survive. A wolf's coat on a wounded deer. Mom glanced at me gently. "Sweetheart, kids your age are all a little complicated. Just don't judge him too quickly, all right?" Her tone was kind. She never believed in bad kids. To her, every child deserved to be understood. The next day, Adrian's seat was still empty. I caught myself staring at it, wondering why it bothered me. At lunch, I went back to the little grove behind the school, the place where we'd fought those guys. But he wasn't there. I stood beneath the same tree, sighing quietly. It wasn't that I wanted to meddle in his business. I just wanted to know what had happened to him all those years. He'd lived in constant fear once, first of being abandoned, then of being rejected. That defiance now, that bad boy act. Maybe it was just his way of crying out to be seen. Just as that thought crossed my mind, a shadow dropped down in front of me. My heart nearly leapt out of my chest. Lost again? I looked up. Adrian had jumped down from the tree. I pouted, trying not to cry. No, I was just walking. He brushed past me lazily, about to leave. Wait, I grabbed his sleeve. You're not leaving me here, are you? What if I starved to death trying to find the cafeteria? He raised a brow, amused. Cafeteria's the other way. Don't tell me you actually got lost again? I lowered my head, mumbling like a mosquito. I came to find you. He stopped, turned slowly, eyes narrowing. Find me? Why? I swallowed. So you can take me to lunch? He stared at me for a moment, then sighed. Of all the people in this massive school, I was probably the only one brave, or stupid, enough to boss Adrian Shen around. I took a deep breath and let go of his sleeve. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you can say whatever you want. Everyone has pride, you know. Then I stomped off, furious. Adrian blinked, stunned. A second ago, I'd been tugging on his sleeve like a lost kitten, and now I'd turned into a snarling cat. Hey, the cafeteria's this way, he called. I stopped, scratched my nose awkwardly, and trudged back, glaring at him just for good measure. He followed quietly behind me, occasionally pointing left or right when I nearly turned the wrong way. By the fifth wrong turn, he sighed. You're hopeless. Then, almost casually, there's a math test this afternoon. Don't forget. I froze mid-step, looking up. He smiled faintly, a self-deprecating curve at the corner of his mouth. I don't know anything anyway. What's the point of taking it? I rolled my eyes, fuming. Are you kidding me? You solved high school level problems back in kindergarten? He didn't argue. He just put his chopsticks down and stood. I'm done. He took 2 steps, then turned back, voice cool but sharp. Think you can find your own way back to class? I froze. Every inch of me wanted to yell, yes, I can. But honesty won out. No. Adrian frowned, then sat back down with a resigned sigh. Well, since I brought you here, I'll take you back too. I ducked my head, silently finishing my meal. That was Adrian, cold on the outside, soft inside. Let's go, he said casually, and took my tray from me before I could react. His movements were smooth, practiced, and for a moment, I just stared. What I didn't notice was the quiet click of a camera nearby. Someone had snapped a picture of us together, and by the next break, it was all over the school's message board. Adrian Shen, the school's untouchable bad boy, and me, the new transfer student with the pretty face. Rumors spread fast. Some called us a childhood couple reunited. Others threw cruel jokes and sarcasm. I didn't know any of it, and even if I had, I probably wouldn't have cared. Adrian walked me all the way back to class. I thought he'd turn around and leave, but no, he went straight inside. The second we stepped in, every eye turned our way. Whispers started instantly. I saw her with Adrian in the woods yesterday. Yeah, and someone got a picture at lunch too. Fingers pointed. Laughter buzzed. They didn't even bother to whisper quietly, because to them, Adrian didn't care. But they were wrong. Every word hit both of us square in the chest. I kept my face blank, eyes cold. Adrian glanced at me, thinking I was upset. Then, without warning, he reached for a piece of chalk from the teacher's desk and threw it. It hit the table right in front of the gossiping girls, exploding into white dust. They shrieked, scattering like startled birds. Adrian turned slightly toward me. Don't mind them, he said softly. It's fine. I tugged lightly at his sleeve. It's nothing, I murmured. They're not worth it. To me, their words were just noise, like flies buzzing around, meaningless. He walked away, and I watched his back. Something ached quietly in my chest. We were so different. He was the real prodigy, the genius everyone feared, and I was just pretending to be one. Still, part of me couldn't stop wondering what he might have become if he'd ever believed in himself again. Miss Toe, Lucas Fong's voice came from the doorway, snapping me out of my thoughts. The homeroom teacher wants to see you, he said calmly, pushing up his glasses. Probably about lunch. I nodded. Thanks. I walked toward the teacher's office and pushed the door open. No teachers. Only Adrian, slouched comfortably in the teacher's chair, legs crossed, arms draped loosely. He looked completely at ease, like he owned the place. If my mom ever saw me sit like that, she'd probably kick me straight through the roof. I sighed inwardly, trying to ignore his posture, but it was impossible. Finally, I couldn't hold back. Why are you sitting like that? I asked. Adrian cracked one eye open, voice lazy. Why are you here? I bit my tongue and stood quietly, deciding silence was safer. He smirked, then nudged the empty chair beside him with his foot. Sit. His tone was pure authority, like some mafia boss ordering a subordinate. I glared, but honestly, standing was worse. So I sat. Outside, a few nosy classmates peeked through the window, giggling. Mr. Wu, our teacher, happened to be walking by. He caught sight of them, frowned, and shook his head. What he saw through the window, the calm air between us, was nothing like the gossip online. Curious, he slowly pushed the door open. Adrian threw Mr. Wu a lazy, indifferent glance, not even pretending to look apologetic. I started to rise out of respect. After all, he was our teacher. But Mr. Wu waved a hand. Sit down, no need to be polite. I'll grab another chair myself. He pulled one over and sat across from us, crossing his legs with a sigh. I called you both here to ask about something on T3. TE3? I tilted my head, confused. What happened there? See for yourself. He handed me his phone, screen glowing with a forum post. It only took a few lines to grasp what was going on. Seriously? That's pure slander. I frowned and passed the phone toward Adrian. He didn't even bother to take it, just glanced once, unimpressed. Mr. Wu reclaimed the phone, his voice firm. All right, you two, tell me the truth. What's going on? From his observations, Mr. Wu had already guessed that Adrian and I weren't strangers. There was some history, maybe even familiarity. He wasn't the strict type. As long as it wasn't early romance, he didn't mind. Early love, after all, was the enemy of grades and the school's reputation. Then, to my utter shock, Adrian sighed. Slow, dramatic. This story, he began solemnly, is a long one. I blinked at him. What the heck are you doing? Adrian never explained anything. Not back then, not now. So, what? Was he playing at? Mr. Wu nodded seriously, gesturing for him to continue. Adrian straightened, his tone grave, every word crisp. This all began when Pangu created the heavens and the earth. Silence. For a full 5 seconds, Mr. Wu just stared at him, utterly lost. I could almost see him trying to process it, eyes darting, brain overloading. He looked like he was bracing for some wild soap opera twist. Was I secretly Adrian's long-lost sister? A hidden heiress of a rich family? Honestly, I couldn't even blame him. Ever since the day I transferred here, people had whispered that someone wealthy had donated to the school and asked them to take good care of me. No one knew who. Mr. Wu's face turned pale. Wait, are you saying she's being blackmailed? I almost choked on my own breath. What am I to him exactly? I stammered. Both of them froze, Mr. Wu and Adrian, wide-eyed. Then Adrian leaned back, completely straight-faced, like he was explaining a math theorem. Well, he said slowly, tapping his nose, if you trace our family trees carefully, I guess she's kind of something to me. He paused dramatically, then continued. My mother and his grandmother were childhood friends. My uncle and her brother were sworn brothers. So, technically speaking, he turned to Mr. Wu, lips twitching. That sounds about right, doesn't it? Mr. Wu stared between us, speechless. These two were improvising a family history like it was a courtroom defense. That's enough, he groaned, rubbing his temples. Go back to class. If I hear about this again, I'm calling your parents. Yes, sir. I stood instantly, bowed politely, and made for the door. Bye, Teach, Adrian said casually, tugging at my collar as he dragged me out. Back in class, we'd barely sat down before the math teacher entered. All right, everyone. Periods 1 and 2 are merged today. Test time. 2 hours, no break. Begin. His monotone voice echoed through the room like a slow chant, and within minutes, my eyelids felt heavy. The test wasn't hard. Honestly, it was child's play. I glanced sideways. Adrian was lounging at his desk, writing lazily, skipping entire solution steps. No calculations, no explanations, just neat final answers, like divine inspiration had whispered them into his ear. Meanwhile, I filled my paper quickly and calmly. When the teacher passed by, he frowned. New student? You haven't written a thing. I looked up blankly. Just started, sir. Finish your test. Anyone who scores below 120 points comes straight to my office. I nodded. Within minutes, I had filled out the entire multiple choice section. My hand moving so fast, the teacher actually stopped and stared. From afar, it must have looked like I was doodling nonsense. He sighed, shaking his head, clearly thinking, another hopeless case? I smiled faintly. Let him think what he wanted. The score would speak for itself soon enough. That night, the teacher's office was still lit. The math department stayed late to grade. The sound of pens scratching paper filled the air, until suddenly a shout broke the silence. Oh my God! Everyone looked up. What happened? This last question. Someone solved it. Perfectly. The teachers gathered around. The final problem, one whispered, was from the Olympiad training set. I only included it as an example. No one was supposed to get it right. But someone had. Perfect logic, clear handwriting, every step flawless. Only 2 points were deducted from one sub-question, for not writing out a formula. Otherwise, it was absolute perfection. A murmur rippled through the room. Which class? Which student? Maybe from class 3. That girl Shu Yi? No, her handwriting's different. This one's neat, elegant. Definitely a girl, though. They went through every top student name in the grade and ruled out every one. Finally, one teacher flipped the front page. Manitou, he read aloud. The room fell silent. The new transfer student? The one who made it onto the TE3 feed today? Gasps filled the air. So that girl, the one tangled up in rumors, was actually a hidden genius. Never judge a book by its cover, one teacher muttered. The sea's too deep to measure with a cup. Someone laughed softly. And she's sitting next to Adrian Shen. Makes sense now. By the next morning, the entire staff room buzzed. When Mr. Ashu walked in, everyone looked at him with sly smiles. He blinked. What? Why are you all staring at me like that? Nothing, someone said, grinning. Then Mr. Wu appeared at the door. Mr. Shu, the head of department wants to see you. Mr. Shu straightened his tie nervously. What now? In the head's office, the department chief smiled faintly. I heard your class has a new student, Manitou. Mr. Shu nodded cautiously. She got a perfect score on the Olympiad question, the head said simply. What? Mr. Shu nearly dropped his folder. He hadn't expected that the student who aced the impossible question was his. That last problem, the head continued, was from last year's National Olympiad training set. Almost no one in the country solved it. The meaning was clear. This girl was no ordinary student. Mr. Shu frowned. But she's in her final year. Shouldn't she focus on university exams? The head waved it off. She's only 16, skipped grades. That means she's still eligible for the national team next year. Mr. Shu slammed a hand on the table. Next July, she'll have graduated. How can she compete as a high school student then? The head stood, eyes flashing. If she can represent our country, does it matter what school she's from? This isn't about one classroom anymore. It's national honor. Their voices rose, echoing through the office. And that's when I knocked timidly on the door. Excuse me, teachers? Both turned in unison, shouting instinctively, "Manitou!" I froze mid-step, blinking. What did I walk into? The air was so awkward I could almost see it shimmer. The head of department cleared his throat, realizing his sudden shout might have scared me half to death. His tone softened instantly, face kind, smile warm, almost fatherly. "Manna, don't worry. Come, sit down." I nodded and took the seat he gestured toward. "Manna," he began gently, "I'd like to ask you something. Would you be interested in joining the National Math Olympiad team? You can decide for yourself. Mr. Shu and I won't pressure you." In other words, he was trying to recruit me. I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Olympiad? I was already in my senior year. Everyone knew 12th graders couldn't join the Olympiad anymore. Yet here he was, asking me like it was the most natural thing in the world. Seeing the confusion on my face, he quickly leaned forward, enthusiasm bubbling like a salesman about to pitch insurance. "Here's the thing," he explained. "The last question on the test. It was taken straight from last year's national team training paper. And you, Mana, were the only student in the entire school to solve it perfectly. With this level of skill, you'd be among the top even on the national team itself." He paused, eyes gleaming. "So, would you like to join this year's Math Olympiad?" I stared down at the table, letting the words sink in. So that's why that question felt so hard. I hadn't expected I'd actually solved something meant for the nation's best. The head of department watched me closely. "Manna, what do you think?" "Don't worry about the college entrance exam. If you win first prize at the provincial level, you'll be directly recommended for university admission." I blinked. "But isn't the qualifying round already over?" He grinned, eyes twinkling like a clever fox. "Ah, not for us. Our school's organizing a joint test with a few others. Top 10 will go straight to the provincial round. And if you win that, you'll be guaranteed direct admission. No need for classes, no need for exams. If you're interested, just say yes. I'll submit your internal nomination today. You can even skip class this afternoon and start training immediately." At that, my pulse quickened. My hands trembled slightly. I nodded without hesitation. "Yes, sir, I'll do it." He had been prepared to give a long, patriotic speech about honor and glory for the nation, but I didn't need any of it. I'd already agreed. Mr. Shu tried to interject. "Mana, maybe you should think it over." But I cut him off with a confident smile. "I've thought it through, and if I don't have class this afternoon, may I start right away?" Before they could reply, I was already out the door, vanishing down the hall like a gust of wind, leaving two stunned teachers behind, staring after me. The head of department chuckled to himself. Did she agree that fast? Just to skip class? Back in the classroom, I arrived just as the math monitor was handing back graded papers. Out of habit, I glanced at Adrian's test. As expected, he'd written only answers, no explanations. Every solution was correct. But if it hadn't been, no one would even know what he was thinking. He wasn't clueless, he was just lazy. Before I could dwell on it, the class fell silent. Adrian, unfazed, grabbed my collar and dragged me back to my seat. I glared, elbowing him twice for good measure. "Let me go!" He finally released me, right as the monitor announced. "Mana 2, your paper's still in the teacher's office." "Thanks," I replied and bolted. When I peeked into the office, Mr. Shu lit up as if his own daughter had come home. "Mana, what brings you here?" I blinked. "You told me to come pick up my test, sir." He smacked his forehead. "Ah, right, of course. I told you that earlier." At the time, he'd assumed I'd failed. Maybe even planned to tutor me personally. He hadn't expected my score to turn the department upside down. He looked around. "Who took Mana's paper? Bring it back." One of the younger teachers laughed awkwardly. "Ah, here it is. Just taking a quick photo." "Photo?" Mr. Shu barked. "That's my student. What are you doing, treating her paper like a celebrity autograph? It's for the students to look at." I peered over, and sure enough, a teacher was holding my test right up to a phone camera. I smiled politely. "It's all right, sir. I'm not in a hurry." But the moment I said that, the room erupted. "Oh, in that case, let me take one too." Me as well, for reference. Phones popped up from every direction, camera flashes blinking like paparazzi. For a moment, my math paper felt less like homework and more like a national treasure. Mr. Shu stormed over, snatched the paper back, and sighed as he glanced at the score. "Only 2 points off, because you didn't write the formula." His tone was full of regret, as if those missing points had personally wounded him. "Next time, make sure you write your steps." What a shame, really. I chuckled softly. "Thank you, sir. I'll remember that." Before he could start another lecture, I slipped away. By third period, the air in class was heavy. Even the usual troublemakers sat quietly, heads down. When Mr. Shu entered, humming softly, holding a stack of tests, everyone froze. "Well, well," he teased. "Where's all that bravado now? A moment ago you were so confident, now no one dares breathe too loud?" No one looked up, except Adrian. He sat there, legs stretched out, face calm, not a hint of guilt. The others stared, unsettled. Mr. Shu didn't linger. He started reviewing the paper, voice sharp but steady. I propped my chin in my hand, fighting sleep. Beside me, Adrian had already laid his head on the desk, fast asleep. The teacher's gaze swept over, pausing briefly. I quickly pretended to be working, flipping pages, scribbling something. He sighed, shaking his head, then said quietly, "Wake your seatmate. I'm in a good mood today. Otherwise, he'd be standing outside right now." Without hesitation, I smacked Adrian on the back of his head. Slap! The whole class gasped. Adrian jerked upright, eyes dazed, rubbing his neck. Confusion spread across his face, until his gaze landed squarely on me. Dozens of eyes watched, waiting for the explosion. I stammered, "Wake up, class! I didn't mean to. Please don't kill me," I prayed silently. Adrian's eyes burned. "Mana, 2?" he growled. My heart thumped once, but I met his gaze head on. Then he sighed, utterly defeated. "Fine, fine. You win." He dragged a book out from his desk, the math book to everyone's surprise, and laid it open lazily in front of him. The teacher smiled faintly, amused. And when Adrian turned his head, catching me staring, I panicked, fumbling for words. "Right, let's, study." He chuckled under his breath. If I hadn't known better, I might have believed he was finally trying. But maybe he was just playing along for me. The days that followed were a blur. I poured everything into training for the Olympiad. Page after page, problem after problem. From the provincial rounds to the national finals, I pushed myself past every limit. When the results came out, my name shone on the golden board. First prize, National Mathematics Olympiad. Direct admission to Tsinghua University. The entire school erupted. My name, Manatu, became legend. The next summer, suitcase in hand, I stood before the gates of Tsinghua. A familiar figure leaned casually against a tree nearby. White shirt, lazy eyes, the same careless smile. "Adrian?" I breathed. You got in too?" He grinned, voice calm but sure. "I just ran a little behind." "Couldn't let you study here alone, could I?" The boy once labeled lazy, hopeless, unmotivated was now standing beside me, shoulder to shoulder. The problem child of our school had aced his exams, and the word genius now echoed where whispers of failure used to be. Years passed like a film on fast forward, from pale blue uniforms to black graduation gowns. And one day, beneath bright wedding lights, I stood in a white dress, holding Adrian's hand. The same hand that once pulled me into trouble, now steady beside me for life. From childhood playmates to partners at the altar, our story had come full circle.